Good morning to Trading Together. I'm Gacee here. This channel and this stream is dedicated to people that are wanting to learn how to trade, and also anyone who's already an expert trader. We're going to trade live together, and I'm teaching along the way. So this is an interactive place. If you're here, I would love it if you would say hi, drop your name in the chat, and ask me any questions that you have. I'd love to answer them, even comments. Love to get to know you. It's a lot more fun to trade together than it is to trade alone, that's for sure. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what we're seeing today. Major sell-off going on right now. So I've taken a few trades already this morning. Let me get my charts where you can see them. Major sell going on right now. I've taken, like I said, several puts this morning, and it just taken small wins, even though we are getting a good size drop here. And we could consider taking even another put. Now, remember that puts are for when you want the market to go down. You can make money with, now puts are options, right? So I trade options. I trade 0 days to expiration, meaning today's expiring options. And you can make money in the market with options when the market's going up or even when it's going down. So that's what we use puts for. So I might go ahead and take a trade here. Let me think about this for a minute. I'm looking at some puts. We are hitting 680, which is our put wall, and I think this could be a stopping place. So I'm going to hold up for a minute and see if we get a bounce from here. Oh, we lost my charts. Let me fix that. All right. So there we go. So we are getting a little, maybe a pause here, right here at 680 on the SPY. And again, that is our put wall. So I might relax here on trading puts, and I might give this a minute to see if we're going to reverse. And I'm going to go check that that put wall is indeed in the same place. All right. Negative gamma outweighing positive gamma this morning. And that's just a way of saying the dealers are hedged to the downside. All right, getting a little bounce here. So good that we waited on that down trade, the put. We could consider calls here if it starts to give us some reversal signals. Right now it's not. We're extremely weak, extremely overbought, meaning that there's an indicator called the RSI, the Relative Strength Index, and that tells us the momentum of the move. When we get to an extreme, like we are right now, extremely overbought, oversold, we can expect to see reversals. So I am going to consider some calls here if this starts to give us some other signals. So we've got the RSI reversing a bit here, but the MACD, that's this indicator right here, is not moving up yet. So I'm going to give this a minute because, again, the trend is down. So the main idea is you want to trade with the trend. You can trade reversals, and I do. But by and large, you're going to be more profitable if you trade with the trend. Right now, the trend is down. So if I zoom out here on this chart, you can see from the open, this is the open up here, we have just dumped, right? So the trend is down. However, we're getting this little bounce at 680. Like I said, that's where our put wall was, meaning that's where the dealers have sort of hedged, where we would expect to see some kind of support. So right now we are getting a little bounce here. And again, we could consider calls, but not yet. I don't have enough confirmation. The trend is down and we need to respect that. All right, so we are down about 1 full percent, 1.1% from yesterday's close. That's how the up and down days are calculated from the prior day's close. So we're down significantly. And we also have the VIX really popping up today. So remember that the VIX is the volatility index. It gauges the volatility on the S&P 500. It does that by going out and looking at options over the S&P 500. The VIX runs inverse to the major markets. So when we see the VIX climbing, we would expect to see the market dropping. When we see the VIX dropping, we would expect to see the market climbing. And that's because the VIX is measuring, in a nutshell, fear. Fear, jitters. If it's sensing jitteriness in the market, you will see it go up. And if the market is jittery, it will move down, usually is the case. All right, so 680 is just kind of where we're parking right now. That's the SPY, 680 on the SPY. And I'm just watching. I'm either watching for another leg down here or a reversal from this potential support zone. So let's see what we get here. Lots and lots of trading is just about being patient and waiting for the right moves. We're waiting for the right setups. All right. Retesting this little bottom here. If we break this bottom and continue down, we could consider some puts. I am looking at 681 puts, but I'm cautious because, like I said, 680 might be support. So we've got to wait and see if we're going to break this 680 area. It is looking pretty weak, I'll say that. And the VIX is popping. So see the VIX down here? It's giving us a little push. All right, no break yet. No break of 680 yet. Extremely oversold. Very, very oversold. Been oversold pretty much all morning. All right, so far, no break of 680, although we're getting real, oh, I spoke too soon. We're getting real close to breaking this level. We can consider our puts potentially right in here. I'm going to give this a minute to see if we're really dropping or if they're just trying to hold out that carrot and see if we'll bite. All right, another little bounce at 680. So we still haven't broken 680. Now we've broken this recent little stop right here, which was at 680.5, but we never really broke 680. So we're right now, our low is 680.1. So I'm looking for a decisive break of 680 to go any, to take any farther down move. If we get a move here up over the 20, this yellow line right here is the 20 period moving average. If we get a little pop over there, I might consider a call, but I'm going to be careful because it's counter to the trend. The trend is down. So whenever you trade counter to the trend, you've got to be very careful, and you got to be getting in and out quickly because the trend right now is down. It is a selling day, that's for sure. So far. Doesn't mean they can't turn it around, but right now it's a selling day. So we got to be careful with any counter trend trade. I am going to load one up just to have it ready. I'm going to go ahead and look at these 681 calls. I'm just going to have those ready. That doesn't mean I'm going to take them. I've just got them ready. So nice little bounce here at 680 so far. A little bit of a drop down on the VIX, we see. Let's give this a minute and see if we're going to get a push or it's just going to turn and give us more downside. And so with this drop today, we were getting real close to all-time highs. So as of this morning and yesterday's close, we were sitting at 6,900 on the S&P 500. The all-time high is 69.20. So that is 20 points, was 20 points overhead. We've dropped a bit since then. Was 20 points overhead, and that all-time high was within striking distance. However, with this sell today, they pulled it all the way down about 100 points away from the all-time high. So can we jump up and hit it in another day or two? Yes. Of course, today being Friday, I doubt we'll hit it today, obviously, with this drop. But I do think we'll get some bounce next week, potentially, right? Everyone talks about the Santa rally or the Santa Claus rally. And basically, all that means is that the expectation is seasonally, historically, we would expect to see the market rise toward the end of the year. That's probability says we probably rise in December. And they call it the Santa rally. It's an old name. It's been around forever. But it just means that there usually is buying toward the end of the year. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Hedge funds wanting their funds to be capitalizing on the moves up, being able to show to their clients that they're in the right allocations in the portfolios. So that's one reason. End of year, just maneuvering. So we always expect, we don't always get one, but we always expect that there is a potential for a Santa Claus rally. So that, again, meaning that we push up toward the end of the year. And that is still possible. We're not down that far, down 100 points from the all-time high. So we'll watch and see what today does. Certainly it's a selling day. We have seen these sell-offs where we get what they call a V-shaped recovery, where we dive down and then we climb back up in a V-shaped recovery. We have seen those. Could it happen today? It could. I don't really expect it. We've got some serious selling going on, but they have surprised me before. So the main idea is you want to trade what's in front of you, right? You want to trade, I call it trading like water. We trade like water. Water takes the path of least resistance. So because I'm a scalper, because I'm trading very short term, in and out very quickly, the macro picture matters, but what really matters is what's going on the chart right now. And so right now, what's going on the chart is we're building a little bottom here, building a little bottom across this zone at 680, which is why I paused on that put, right? Why I said, let's wait and see what happens at 680. So right now, building a little bottom. Are we going to turn and push? We sure could. Are we going to just turn and go down and lose this bottom? It could happen. So right now we're in a wait and see mode of whether we break this bottom at 680 or whether we turn and go up. And the first thing that we'll see when we turn and go up is a cross of this 20 period moving average. So we've got to see that happen to justify any kind of an upward move. And remember, calls are moving up, puts are moving down. We make money both ways. That's the beauty of scalping and day trading and using options to your advantage. You can also trade stocks up and down. It's known as shorting. If you think the market's going down, you would short the stock or in essence, sell a stock. And you can sell a stock even if you don't own it. Now that's a dangerous position because if you sell it and it goes against you, now you're kind of in the hole. You've got to go out and buy it, and you've got to buy it for more than you sold it for, and that's a loss. So, but all that to say, you can make money up and down in stocks or in options. I prefer options. You've got more leverage for your money, in my opinion. All right, so still just a bit of a sideways move. Looks like it might come back down here and test this bottom. But by and large, just kind of ranging. You can kind of see it, right? Like a little wave. Up and down, just ranging sideways. So in this type of action, we have to wait. And as I say often, 90% of trading is waiting. I'm telling you, it's the truth. There's a lot of waiting in trading. All right. So while we're waiting, we can talk about what the big picture looks like. I'm going to keep this screen open so that I can watch while we talk about what the big picture is looking like. And I'll give you the daily view. All right, here's a little pop. I like that. Let's see if we can beat that 20. If we beat that 20, I might be inspired to take a call here. We'll have to watch. All right, so I'm going to move over to our daily chart on the S&P 500, or otherwise known as the SPX. Now remember, the SPX is the index. You can't own the index. You can trade options on it, but you can't own it. If you want to own it, you got to buy the SPY. The S&P 500 is the index. That's what I'm charting right here. So this is a chart of the index. Lots of red lines here. It's a busy chart, forgive me, but these are all these lines have been built like bricks in a wall of where we have been, and they serve as support and resistance for me. If we come back down, as you can see, look at this line right here. This is a support line at 68, just a little over 6,800, which we just broke 680, and we're sitting on this support line. Okay, we might consider some downward move here. That's a break. I am going to load up puts right now at the 680 level. I'm not in them yet. I'm just watching. 680 did break. This support zone looking a little weak. Let's see if we can bounce it. The support zone equates to 6,800 on the SPX. We came down and tagged 6,806 with a bounce. Okay, back to our daily chart. And so here is our all-time high at 69.20. That's the SPX, 69.20. Now, we came up yesterday real strong after FOMC, after our rate cut announcement, real strong, and got a high of 69.03, 17 points away. Now, this was our closing high. So even though the high, all-time high is at 69.20, that it didn't close there. It closed below there. We just tagged it, right? So this wick hit 69.20. We didn't close there. So this yesterday is our highest all-time close. And the close was at 69.01. So we came from the all-time high. We got this pretty strong dip all the way down into the third week of November. And then we reversed in a very strong way, very strong parabolic, almost vertical move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to travel the whole length, almost the whole length of what we had dropped. So very strong parabolic move. And then what did we get? Chop, sideways. You see a little bit of a climb here, but by and large, it is sideways. And this candle is confirming that. We're back in this sideways range. Are we going to lose this range and continue down? That's what remains to be seen. So that's what we need to watch. We're so far holding this support level. You can see the candle sitting right on it. Are we going to hold that? Potentially. So that's what we're watching for as we look at this little minute chart. And this is the daily chart. So this is today's whole candle. So you can see all we've done today is drop, right? Red candles form at the top and move to the bottom. Green candles start forming at the bottom and move to the top. So green moves up, red moves down. And this red candle has moved down all day, big candle. And now we are sitting right on support, looking like we could be getting a bit of a bounce. All right, so that's our big picture. It feels like today is, very, very bearish and very negative. And it is. It's a negative day. It's a bearish day. But don't lose sight of the big picture. The big picture says we're in a V-shaped recovery. Now, today's candle looking gnarly, but we are in a V-shaped recovery. So what remains to be seen is how we respond to this zone, this chop zone. If we break down, then we've got more to go. But if we hold this level, we could turn and continue back up. All right, and we're getting a little push up right now. I'm going to move over to my minute chart and prepare for maybe looking at some calls. So let me do that. I'm going to look at calls here at the 680 level. Now, these are a little on the expensive side, so be careful with your position size if you're following. We're back up, reclaimed 680 up to 681 almost. So that's a nice little bounce off the bottom. If it's the bottom, we don't know for sure that it's the bottom. So here's our 679 low. We came right up through 680 and tagged 681. Now we're just in the 680 zone. I'm liking calls here as we cross over the 20. This golden line is the 20 period moving average. I do like calls here potentially. I'm thinking about it. Again, it's a counter trend trade, so we've got to be cautious. We want to be in and out fairly quickly on a counter trend trade. Okay, no trade yet. We're not really pushing up hard, and we're not pushing through the 20 yet. So no upward trade. And again, we're super cautious with those because they're counter to the trend. Pushing again up to the 20. And you can see, I'll show you why I'm looking at the 20, because we've really, oh, there it goes, up through it. We've really respected the 20 all day long. We haven't really traded above it at all today. Not there. Okay, there we go. Another push. I'm not seeing strong volume on this push, so I need to be also careful in that respect. It is pushing nicely. I do like it. Volume's starting to pick up a little bit here. We like that. Up to 681, back up to 681 and a little rejection. Okay, so here's why I was watching the volume. Take a look at this. I'm going to put a drawing on here so you can see. This volume, even back to here, but right from here to here, these bars represent volume, or how many people basically are trading, right? And we can see the volume coming down while the price is moving up. We would call that a divergence, volume price divergence. When you see that, you got to be a little cautious. It doesn't mean we can't continue up, but when you see the volume kind of descending while the price is ascending, it tells you there might not be a lot of momentum or oomph behind that move, right? So that's where you got to be cautious a little bit. Along with the fact that we are in a downward trend. Don't forget that. Very, very important. We got to trade like water. Go with the stream. Just flow with the stream. So let's zoom out just a wee bit. There we are. Little push here. We have not beat this little tiny recent high. I'll show you where it is. Right here. Little recent high right here at 681.7. So this little push didn't quite get there. And I had a feeling it might peter out because of this descending volume. So what it looks like to me at this moment in time is exactly what I was saying just a few minutes ago. Looks a bit like sideways action, even though we did get a lower low. We've been getting lower lows. It's looking a bit bottomy, just a little bit. And we did get this little pop up over the 20, but as you can see, it lasted about 2 minutes and came right back down. We would call that a look above and fail. It came up and looked above the 20 and then came down. So remember, this is the minute chart. Lots and lots of noise, lots of activity, and lots of false signals on the minute chart. So I do trade on the minute chart, but you got to take some of it with a grain of salt because it is noisy and it is very, very busy. All right. So what I'm waiting for here for a trade, like I was saying earlier, is a cross up over the 20, a decisive cross up over the 20, or a decisive break of this low. Could we trade a put coming down to test the low? Yes, but there's not enough room here. So where we're sitting right now, 680.2, and our current low is 679.7. To me, that's not enough room to make a profit. Now, could we go past the low? Of course, but I wouldn't take that chance. I'd want to see it break the low first. And it may or may not do that, so we don't know yet. Little pop on the VIX. VIX is currently sitting just at the high of day. So when we look across the board, we can see this is my watch list. I call it my leaderboard. It just means a list of the stocks that I keep an eye on to kind of help me gauge what we're doing. I keep the Mag 7 on there. That's the Magnificent 7, which is the nickname that we've given to the top 7 stocks that make up almost 40% of the value of the S&P 500. And those stocks are going to be your big tech stocks, such as Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Apple, Tesla, Google, Nvidia. And the 8th one we would say is Broadcom, right? So when I look across and I see what's going on the leaderboard, I'm looking for the Mag 7 and what they're doing. And of course, today everybody's down. So Apple is the farthest up, but still down below its flat line. And everybody else down as well. In fact, we've got Broadcom kind of bringing up the rear down here at negative 10% after a big dump yesterday too. So Oracle as well taking a long a long drop down for sure after earnings. Okay, and then we've got Nvidia down almost 3%. That's no good. We've got the Qs, that's the NASDAQ, down 2.1%. We're only down 1.3. When I say we, I'm talking about the SPY and the SPX. So Qs down far more than we are. Amazon down 2%. Meta down 2%. Google down 2%. Everybody down. So chances are we could drop some more here. This low might not hold. And if it doesn't, we could consider puts again. So this little bounce was not much. Wasn't much of anything. Let's see if we can hold this bottom. That's the question. And at this moment, no trade. No trade yet. If we come down and break this bottom, we might consider a really fast put. And here we go. Testing the bottom. I'm going to load my puts up. The 680s. All right, I'm going to give this put a quick try. I'm going to get out pretty quickly. I think not overstay my welcome, I don't think. Up 3% right now. Little bounce here. Let's see if we can get another little drop. There's a bounce. I'm going to take a quick win here. 3%. Punch it. I'm out. Very small win, but this little drop here was looking to me like it wanted to bottom out. So I'm out of that trade. 3%. Not much. Basically a break even. I'm okay with that. I'll wait for another setup. And again, it's tricky right here where it's building a bottom. These trades are tricky. So what we did is we got a new low, 679.1, and then a bounce off of it. So they're very tricky. You know, looking in retrospect, it looks so easy, right? Oh, it's just coming down. But these are tricky with these bounces in here. So you got to be careful. All right. Little push here, back into the 680 zone. So remember, I think they want to hold 680. I do think that they're going to try, but we don't know. We don't know until they show us where we're going. But I think they might want to try to hold 680 here. Nice bounce there. Good thing we're out of that put because that was just a little dip and then a rise. So I'm glad we jumped out real fast. All right, popping up over the 20 here. I am going to load calls at 680. I'm not going to get in yet. I'm just looking. I'm just watching to see if we're going to break this 20 or if we're going to come back down. And I'm just setting up one of my indicators here. This is an indicator that I created. Okay, little bounce here. Up over the 20. I might try these calls here. Up to 680.5, kind of like the bounce. Not in yet, just looking. We haven't beat the most recent high. I'll show you where that is. Right here, right? This is the most recent high. But we did come up over the 20, so I'm cautiously optimistic on this call. Now the pattern has been make these little lower highs and then dip back down again. So that's why I'm being cautious. And we'll look at the chart together. Getting a little, so far, making a little lower high. Let's see if that's going to continue down or if they're going to turn and move this up. We're over the 20, which is nice, but ideally, if we can beat this most recent high, that would give us a little bit more confirmation to jump into some calls. And again, calls are counter to the trend, so we're very careful with counter trend trades. Those are sometimes super lucrative, but you got to be super careful with them because the real money is made in following the trend. Okay, here's another little move down. Let's see if we hold 680. We're right at the threshold, moving into 679 again. Let's see if they try to hold it. Right in here is, this is the line that we want them to hold if we're going to reverse at all today. Okay, might be trying to hold it. Let's see. Back up over the 20. Nice little push here. So you can see just a series of lower highs, lower and lower. Now we're coming up to this most recent one, and we're over the 20. So I'm getting a little more encouraged about the call. Not beating the high just yet. So no trade at this moment. No put, no call. Yep, couldn't hit this one. We hit it, but we couldn't beat it. We're just toggling right here on the 20. That's the golden line. Coming right back down through it. Still holding 680 right now. Right, are we interested in a put? I don't think so, not yet. It feels a little bottomy, for lack of a better word. It feels like it could be trying to build a little bottom here. The major slipping seems to have slowed down. So we've been slipping down all day. But this major slipping seems to have slowed down. Let's see if that's true. And remember that once they hit whatever range they're looking for, they can pull it sideways for a really long time. That's where they burn, what we call burn theta. So when you buy an option, every option has an expiration. And my options are today's expiration. That's called 0 days to expiration. Those options are going to expire today at the end of the day, and they are going to expire worthless no matter what the underlying does. The underlying, in my case, being SPY. SPY can do whatever we want it to do, but if we leave that option till the very end of the day and we don't get out of it, it is going to close worthless, expired. So as we near the end of the day, time value starts disappearing. So when you buy the option, you pay a certain amount of money for it. Part of that money that you pay is the value of the time that the option has left. So as the option closes, in on the end of the day, we start to see the value of the option eroding, regardless of what the stock is doing. Even if it's going the direction we needed it to, we will see the value of the option start to erode and decay. That's known as burning theta, right? And they do that a lot, Mark. And when I say they, just understand that I think there are people with big money that do manipulate the market and do push it in the directions that they want. And that's just a theory. I have no proof. But when the market goes sideways for an extended period of time, that theta gets decayed. The time value erodes. And so that is something you'll see almost every day. You'll see a period of time where we just move sideways. So if you were in a call here, you wouldn't be making any money. It's not moving up. If you were in a put here, you wouldn't be making any money. It's not moving down. It's sideways. And so this sideways range is what I like to avoid at all costs. That's the kryptonite to my strategy. I'm a scalper. I'm in and out quickly. I rely on volatility and fast moves. And if we are stuck in sideways chop, that is my kryptonite. So I'm very cognizant of these sideways move. And that's what it looks like to me. Even though there is a downward slant, it's mostly looking sideways to me. It looks to me like the big slip has slowed down. So these are the times when I've got to be patient and I have to wait for my setup. No trade inside of this range for me. That's how I do it. All right. Well, we are getting close to the end of this stream. And if you're here and you haven't said hi, I would love it if you would drop your name in the chat. I am going to be back here again on Monday at 9 a.m. Mountain. I'm here every day, 5 days a week, 9 a.m. You can trade live with me. I also use this time as teaching and just building community. I really want to build community, a safe space for traders to just come and talk, whether you're new, whether you've been around the block for a while. This is a safe space and an encouraging space for traders to really get to know each other and interact with each other. So I'm really thankful that you've joined me here today. We did take a tiny winner, just an itty bitty one, only 3%, but I'm okay with that. We will be back again on Monday, and hopefully we will have a little bit more volatility and some better trading setups. But that is going to do it for me today. Looks like Willie Boishish is saying thank you for your inputs. Thank you, Willie, for joining. I really appreciate you and appreciate you saying hi, and really would love to meet y'all and build this community. So don't be shy. I appreciate you guys. I'll be back again on Monday at 9 a.m. Mountain. Thanks for joining. Take care and bye for now.